Boom, bop, bam. Boom, bit, bop, bit, boom, bop, bam. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Jaron Ikner Show. It's your boy, Jaron Ikner. We're back again with episode 2 of season 2. Brand new content. We're talking about the world and the things around it and all the crazy stuff that is happening. So we got multiple cameras. We got one camera, 2 cameras. We're live on TikTok right now. Shout out to my TikTok family. Make sure you guys hit the hearts. I want to see hearts flying on the screen and all that stuff. Let's get the number up over there. But we're also live on YouTube. I see you, YouTube family. Make sure you guys are following, leave comments, etc., so forth. We're in subscriber mode only though on YouTube, just for now. I might turn it off, but subscriber mode only for right now for reasons. And then we're over here recording the widescreen version for my YouTube channel, Jaron Ikner. So make sure you guys follow that. But we're gonna go ahead and get into this because we have a lot of juicy stuff to talk about this week. Last week was pretty crazy, but I think I'm gonna actually start off talking about Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue. Now, I'm going to try and keep this as PG as possible because I know I'm on TikTok and I know I'm on YouTube. But if you don't know the story behind these two ladies, it's pretty crazy. And I actually did a little bit of research. So I'm going to read some things about her that in case you can get a little highlight reel about who she is. So Lily Phillips is an OnlyFans creator, and she generated a lot of attention because she decided to have a competition basically with her friend. That's the short of it. That's how I read it, is that she's basically having some type of competition with her friend. And this competition is basically how many you can in a certain amount of time. Now, with her in particular, she is a rival to her friend, Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue has done plenty of erotic film as Lily Phillips. You can look her up, etc., so forth. Once again, trying to keep this PG, but I'm also trying not to say go look that up, but go look that up. But she was I guess Bonnie Blue came out and was like, yo, I'm going to go ahead and do 100 guys, right? So then Lily Phillips is like, well, I'm going to do 100 guys. And so Lily Phillips did it. She did it first. I think she did it first. And I might have the storyline right. Let me know if I have the timeline wrong on this, essentially. So then Bonnie Blue was like, well, F that, I'm going to do 1,000. And so allegedly, none of this footage has been released, by the way. She did 1,000 dudes in a period of time and broke a record, apparently. I don't know. But flash forward to a couple months, because this happened the end of 2024, I believe. There's actually a documentary on Lily Phillips that's kind of actually sad.
I'm Lily Phillips, and today I'm getting run through by 100 guys.
It ends with her just eating a sandwich in a room by herself because that's kind of what happens. But anyways, I digress. Anyways, so it came out that Bonnie Blue was pregnant, right? Probably because of the 1,000 men. Odds. There's a lot of math involved there in terms of how that all plays out. Math, science, statistics. But she came out as pregnant. And then not too long after that, Lily Phillips came out and announced that she too was also pregnant. And so I look at this whole situation, I just think it's wild because it's wow, we're really, this is the era that we're in right now. We're we're seeing these massive situations where these ladies are putting themselves in situations and they wind up with the baby. And I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it. I'm just kind of reporting the story because I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious, especially when I watched the documentary. So when I saw the story, I was like, let me go check out this documentary. So a guy, I think his name is Josh. Let me actually look up his name real quick. Josh Peters. Josh Peters decided to put together this documentary. In this documentary, he basically chronicles the whole process as much as possible. So because there were so many guys in the Airbnb that they rented out, they wouldn't let Josh Peters in the room. So the vast majority of the video is just basically Josh Peters outside, kind of filming the window and stuff. It's kind of creepy, but I digress. And then at the end, they invite him upstairs. And then while he's upstairs, he walks into the room and he's just blah. You can hear the camera guy literally just wretched. And there's condoms all over the place.
Hello. Lily offered to show me the aftermath of their stunt.
What does it smell like?
I guess it... You actually can. Is that real?
Yeah, he's not good with smell.
And the whole time during the documentary, they're basically talking to the manager, her friend, who's basically facilitating all these dudes, et cetera, so forth. And she's basically just some guys canceled. So I had to kind of go find some guys. And then some guys were shy about it and they wanted to come back, et cetera, so forth. So that alone, the reason why I mention all this is because that alone suggests that there wasn't really like a lot of planning behind this situation in terms of like, safety, testing, vetting all the guys, making sure that all these things were going to work out in a way that was basically safe for all parties involved. It got kind of gross. That's the short of it, is that shit got gross. And so whatever, now this chick's pregnant. We'll see what happens in the long run with her, with how this pregnancy plays out in terms of like that child, because that child's basically ruined, and we're never going to find out who his father is unless she's going to go and make another documentary about DNA testing 100 men. We live in sad times. But moving on to the next topic, we're going to move on here. So the next topic, I don't really want to talk about this dude too much. I don't want to spend too much time on him. He used to be my guy, but he's done some messed up shit. But I think it's worth talking about Kanye West. And I'm going to put this all into like a little condensed segment instead of talking about everything that he's done over the last like couple months. So we're just going to do like a speed run, basically, leading up to today, which I think today is basically what I wanted to talk about. But over the last couple months, you saw Kanye do the Super Bowl thing where he basically made a commercial telling people to go to his website to buy or a t-shirt or some merchandise. But then when he got to the website, it was just a t-shirt of a Nazi symbol. Yes. And so during that point in time, I think Shopify shut down the website, but they didn't shut it down because of the Nazi symbol. They shut it down because of fraud, which is suspicious. Whatever, I digress. Since then, his wife divorced him. He's supposedly supposed to be on this run. Oh yeah, I forgot. At the Grammys, his wife showed up basically dressed as a condom. You could see all her bits poking out, et cetera, so forth. Caused a lot of controversy, caused a lot of wild stuff happening. And the short of it is that it led to a divorce. And we don't know the fine details of it, but there was rumors have it that Kanye, because of his debt and the timing of when she married him, that she actually might owe him money, which is crazy. I don't know. But flash forward to now, he's trying to promote his album Bully. He's been doing like a lot of videos where it's just like, I'm showing samples on my song, etc. and so forth. Flash forward to today, Kanye West leaks a song or puts out a song with The Game. And his marketing, I woke up to this. Basically, I open up my phone and I see him posting a video of Tina Knowles on the Jennifer Hudson show. So if you watch the Jennifer Hudson show or seen clips of it, they do this thing where like they walk down the hallway with all the staff, and the staff like sings the songs, like a little jingle that they make up, and the jingle is relevant to the person who's walking down the street. Like if it's me walking down the hallway, they'd be like, "Oh, it's Jaron, he's the bomb," or whatever. They do like a little jingle. They mostly do this for marketing, and they do it for like to try to get those viral moments, et cetera, and so forth. But Tina Knowles was a guest on the Jennifer Hudson show. During this time, they make a little jingle for her. She's dancing down the hallway, woo, woo, woo. But Kanye posts this video. And then when you swipe right, it turns out that he is working with The Game on a new song called Tina. And he takes that song and samples it as the intro to the song with The Game, where basically, I guess the Game has slid into Tina's inbox. But the song itself is a sample of Tina Turner's What's Love Got to Do With It. A lot of layers here, a lot to unpack here, especially when you think about what he's been going through. There's a lot to unpack. But my point is in bringing this all up, because like I said, I'm not trying to talk about Kanye too much right now, is that like his antics are kind of running stale at this point. When Kanye West first started, he was always about upping the ante, right? Like every time that he did a marketing campaign or did something to get the attention or eyes on his music, he would go crazy and do insane next level stuff, from clothing to projecting videos on buildings with maps that you had to find on his website, ARG, all kinds of fun stuff like that, to just all kinds of fun stuff. And it was actually very exciting to watch him drop projects, especially with like Graduation, with his beat with 50. Like it was really fun. But then at some point it stopped getting fun. And I would probably say it was around the time that he did do Ye, and he dropped those several albums in a row with Pusha T and Tiana Taylor and himself and Kid Cudi, et cetera, so forth. Like that was a fun little time. I think that was probably the last time that I was like, okay, this guy's off his rocker. But since then, he's always been trying to up the ante, keep the eyes on him, keep the attention going, right? Which, kind of moves into the anti-Semitic shit, right? and him attacking the industry and all these different things like that, because that's kind of how you get to when you're trying to ramp it up. It's cool for a second, but then when you run out of ideas, you start to get kind of weird with it. And that's basically what we're seeing with Kanye, where it's just like this motherfucker is doing like wild ass, ratchet ass like shit, where he's just like, I need to get as much tension on me as possible. I need to be like, Nazis. Oh, I'm gonna do Elon Musk, etc. So over. And it's something that I'm used to when I watch Kanye West operate. It's like that's typical Kanye, but it's so stale now. And it's not inspiring. And it's not like hitting me in a way that motivates me to be like, oh man, this guy's actually here inspiring me to do some stuff. He's just trying to fucking continue the perpetual media cycle because it works. You know what I'm saying? He'll continue to sell t-shirts. He'll continue to sell records as long as he continues that perpetual media cycle. And it's sad, man, because that was my dude. But I really can't rock with him on the level because of just how volatile and violent and unnecessary all this shit is. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude is one of the greatest artists of all time. This is beyond fact. Depending on how you feel about him outside of that is undeniable when it comes to his impact musically. And if he just continued to focus on the music and the art, like, that's all I really want from this man. I don't give a fuck about like his viewpoints or his sexuality or like all that bullshit, because it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I just want to hear the music. But I digress. We're moving on. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time ranting about Kanye West because this is not a Kanye West rant video. But we want that for the sweet clips later. Anyways, moving on. Elon Musk wants to give everyone $5,000, allegedly. This is something that he's been talking about for the last week now, where I guess he wants to try to find close to $2 trillion in savings and then give a portion of that to the people, $5,000 a person. Now, he's nowhere near that $2 trillion mark right now, just so you know. Currently, I think he's floating around like $6 billion in savings. I have to double check right now. I'm sure someone might fact check me in the video, but I'm getting kind of afraid of how this country is operating right now. Actually, I've always been worried about this. And oddly enough, I think the moment that actually hit me the most recently, it wasn't the election. It wasn't even Trump or anything that Elon Musk did. It wasn't like the Roman salute or anything of that crap like that. It was actually the very first episode of the Beast Games. Oddly enough. And I watched the first episode of the Beast Games, and I'm watching these real people, sit here like in tears, just shattered completely because they weren't able to fucking get money to feed their families or pay their student loans or their credit card debts or take care of their dying parents or whatever. And they're going through all this crazy thing. They're getting dropped in tubes and having to backstab their friends and do all kinds of wild stuff just for the sake of the dollar.
This guy was getting into it.
Press the button! Someone has to go! Please! I'm not touching it, please! Press the button! 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 Press the fucking button!
I think it represents just how a lot of people felt. Like the intensity was really getting to them.
This country has devolved so much into just the idea of money to the point where it's like a major problem. Like before it was like, yeah, you know, America get in the bag. America be out here get bag collecting, which we do. You know what I'm saying? America's good at getting the dollar and do what we need to do. But those ideals have been so ingrained in our society that I've seen people moralistically change their whole mindset of who they are as people because they needed more money, right? And you see it happen all the time, right? Like people rob and steal and kill, et cetera, so forth. But I'm talking like actual moral structure. Because there's always the moral conundrum, right? Like, would you steal a piece of bread to feed your family, right? And I think a lot of people would say, yeah, I would steal that piece of bread to feed my family because I got to feed my family and there's no other way to do it. At least in the moment, my child's hungry, whatever. And those are justifiable means, right? Like I got to feed my family, right? But when you talk to a lot of people, like their dreams are just like be rich. Like that's why you're seeing like so many people defend billionaires right now, which is so odd because there's this dream in the back of their mind that they too will also be a billionaire. That one day they'll win the lottery or one day their business will pop off and they'll actually make some money, or one day they'll actually fulfill their dream and their fantasy or make a bunch of money at their work or get that raise and finally make 6-7 figures and get that house that down the street or that car that they dreamed of. And that's because that's the American dream. That's the American dream that has been ingrained into me ever since I was a child coming up, living in California and moving to Colorado and Arizona. Like, it's always been ingrained into me, the idea that you should just go and be successful and go make as much money as you want. But with that said, I was also told that I could be anything that I wanted to be as a child. Literally anything. If I wanted to be an astronaut, which I did, I could have been an astronaut if I had just applied myself to do that. But now the message is a little different. Now it seems like the message is you could be anything you want to be if you are financially stable enough to do that. If you aren't financially stable to do that, you must struggle and become a lower class, bottom trench feeding citizen in order to survive in this country. Otherwise, you must just watch other people flourish and be great, which is why social media and TV and celebrity obsession and fandom is so prevalent in this country right now, because you're seeing all these motherfuckers just like worship people. Like, oh, I want to be like Drake. I want to be like LeBron. I want to be like whoever. But they don't understand like the work that goes into those things. Or maybe they do understand the work that goes into it, but they're not willing to put the work in, right? And this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with, because you hit that wall. And whatever you're trying to fucking do, there's always going to be work involved. Always. Even with Elon Musk. Like, motherfuckers would hate on Elon Musk all day and be like, oh, you know, he's a billionaire and his dad had a mine and he got money inherited, which is true, right? But there's still some work involved to become the richest person in the world, right? It's not just like you wake up as the richest person in the world. There's still work involved. And I believe that work is being put in by Elon Musk, but it's put in a way that is altruistic and beneficial to him. I truly believe that this man is believing that he's playing a giant video game of The Sims right now, and he's just killing it. He's in the bonus rounds waiting on the DLC, putting satellites in space and doing all kinds of wild shit just for the sake that he can do it. You know what I'm saying? I said this in the previous video. I said this in the last video, I think, where I believe that he has ultimate crazy goals in his head and he's just doing the best that he can to achieve them, right? As any American citizen would, as any human would, because that's the whole point. So I don't really knock that point. But the whole idea of giving everybody $5,000, is getting back to the main topic, goes down to the whole manipulation, the aspect that I want people to like me as much as possible, especially when it comes to Elon Musk. Elon Musk wants that approval so bad, more than most people that I know in my life. This dude just wants to be loved. He wants love so much. If you give this man love and joy and happiness, he will take that and run with it. But over the last few years, he has definitely sullied his name. So now he's grasping at straws. He's trying to throw a Hail Mary saying, let me give these people $5,000 so people will like me. Going back to what I was saying about how money controls us that much. Because a lot of people are like, oh, well, that would be great. I would love Elon Musk if he gave me $5,000. It reminds me of the pandemic back in 2020 when Donald Trump was giving out Donald Trump bucks. And then people were like, oh, that's so great. Even though that was like a bipartisan, like, you know, worldwide pandemic, Trump took fucking credit for that. He won't take credit for other things. I digress. We're not going to rant about that too much. But my point is that going back to Elon Musk, is that this dude wants to buy our approval so bad. Now, there might not be anything we could do about that, because even with the pandemic checks, they just put that shit in your account. You can't deny the money. I guess you could maybe write a check and send it back or something like that. But that's just going to drop, right? And if it does, whatever. But you can't buy my loyalty, at least mine. Some motherfuckers out there will slurp on the corn cob all about that. Whatever, dude. But moving on. It's the Jaron Ikner Show. Jaron. I don't have a theme song yet. Actually, I do, but y'all ain't worthy of the theme song yet. We ain't theme song level yet. We gotta get more followers and likes and clicks and whatnots. Get you all up in the sphere of this before we start doing shit like that. Moving on. So yeah, the next topic is Delta. Speaking of giving out bags, giving out money to people. So there's been a lot of plane crashes lately. A lot. Like a significant high amount of plane crashes relative to the amount of plane crashes that typically are. I actually looked all this shit up when all this shit was going down. I was like, man, there sure are like a lot of plane crashes. Is this normal? So statistically speaking, it actually is normal. Kinda. In the sense that like Last year in 2024, there was something around 1,500 plane crashes. I might need to fact check that or put it on the screen on the final edit, but something were around 1,500 plane crashes. However, the vast majority of those plane crashes were actually, people planes that had 6 people or less in the plane. So it wasn't like, it's like, 20,000 people or 20,000 people, 100 people or 200 people dying in a plane crash, or commercial airlines or planes crashing in the air. Usually it's like, small Cessnas and stuff like that, like crashing into trees or something like that. 1,500. Right now we are floating around, I think, 90 plane crashes since January. So in terms of like the number of actual crashes, the number is actually lower than what's been happening last year in terms of like amount of crashes, right? So that's good news. However, the caveat to that is that the size of the planes that are crashing are a lot larger and the fatalities are a lot higher. We're talking commercial airliners, things that have 60, 70, hundreds, a couple hundred people in these planes. So the fatalities are a lot higher when it comes to these plane crashes. So it's like, a little scary there when you actually like assess that situation. Anyways, recently, you might have seen the footage already, and maybe I'll post a clip, but the Delta airplane footage is nuts. It is nuts. So basically, though, this plane crashed. I don't even know where it was at. Let me look this up real quick so I can give you guys some actual information here. Yes, Toronto is where this was at. So in Toronto, this plane crashed on the runway, but not only did it crash, it flipped. It did like a whole like barrel roll situation like that, and ended up landing upside down. And most of the people, I think everybody actually on the plane survived. Thank God. And but of course, as I would, mad footage came out because, people have their phones. So you're seeing people like jumping out of the thing, getting rescued, and you're seeing people being like, holy shit, it survived that.
Everything, drop it. Come on.
When we hit, it was just a super hard, like a hit the ground, and the plane went sideways.
And it's crazy, right? So the media, the PR around the situation is a complete nightmare because everybody lived, right? So it's kind of messed up when I say that, because it's like, I feel like most airliners, and this sounds messed up, but like, I feel like most airliners want people to not survive the plane crash. If the plane is going to crash, then you need to not survive that. And the main reason is because of the fact that if you survive that plane crash like they did in Delta, they're gonna be up in your ass, up in it. And they're gonna be, and we're in 2025 where everybody got phones, right? So motherfuckers are gonna be doing TikToks, they're gonna be doing dance moves in front of the plane, like, this is my survival dance. Like, bro, it's a PR nightmare. And that's basically what happened, where you saw like basically like all these videos come out of people hopping out of the plane while it was on fire, rescue crews, all kinds of stuff. There's videos all over the place. You can go on TikTok. I think there's a hashtag around this point. There probably is. But the point is that all this footage came out, and Delta was like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? The situation is crazy. You know what I'm saying? We got to do something. So they came out and they're like, yo, we're going to offer you $30K to just like, just $30K. Apparently there's no strings attached to this $30K. They don't have to like be quiet. They don't have to sign like any NDAs. This is not like a silencing amount. They're just giving him $30K. And I think in hopes of being like, basically kind of saying like, hey, my bad, our bad. We didn't mean for our plane to crash and for you guys to survive. So here's $30K, boom. Which, cool. But is $30K enough? Is $30K enough? Would you take $30K? If you see this part of the video, let me know in the comments. If you would take $30K, is $30K enough for a plane crash survival? I'm asking for at least 6 figures. You got to give me $100K. My life is extremely valuable. I have a family. I have all kinds of stuff. Like, bro, $30K is not going to do it. So the lawsuits are coming. Like, I would probably take the $30K and then be like, cool, when's the next payment coming in? And if you guys don't give me more money, I'm going to sue. Because I just survived a fucking plane crash. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy on that. Maybe I'm greedy. But I definitely think that I need a lot more than $30K if I survive the plane crash. Not only did it crash, it went boom, and then it went inverted and landed upside down. You got motherfuckers jumping out like, ha, Like I said, PR nightmare. You got to run at least 100K. And how much is Delta worth? Like, what is their worth right now? Because they got to give up at least like 10% of their net worth to all those people on the plane, because they're going to catch a lawsuit anyways. That's my thought process on that. Let's see. So their net worth, based off the random Google, says that they have $72 billion in assets. And how many people were on that crash? I think it was like 60 people on that crash. Let me see. I'm doing this all in real time. I don't have a Jamie over here that he looks up information, so you always got to bear with me when I do this shit. 76 passengers were on this plane. Now, obviously, you shouldn't give them each $1 billion, because that would literally tank a company. But you could probably give them at least $1 million. I think $1 million a piece, $76 million to I don't know. I'm tripping on that. Like I said, what do you guys think? Like, would you take 30K and just like walk away? It's a free 30K no matter what, but I think I might be suing for a little bit more than that. That's just my thought process on that. Anyways, moving on. We got one more topic before we end this amazing episode of the Jaron Ikner Show. We'll be back probably next week. I'm trying to figure out consistency. I decided to go live 10 a.m. on a Tuesday this time around versus 8 o'clock. And, we're going to just try different times, but we'll try to go at least weekly. Every week, you can follow. If you didn't catch the live stream, you can check it out on my Jaron Ikner page on YouTube, and you can probably check clips from it at Starstruck Multimedia on YouTube or Starstruck TV, if I could talk straight, to get clips of this episode. You might see them on Instagram too. Follow me. This information might be on the screen. It might not. It kind of depends on how much effort I want to put into it. I don't even know. Anyways, ASAP Rocky got out of jail, or not out of jail. He beat his case. So ASAP Rocky was facing a gun charge, like a serious gun charge. This dude was like about to go to jail for like damn near like 30 years, I think he was facing. Anyways, he beat the case. There's a whole video of him basically getting the not guilty verdict, and then he stage dives on top of Rihanna.
Untitled action. Find the defendant. Rakeem Mayers. Not guilty.
I didn't realize how athletic he was. He, in a single leap, went over the jury box. But before we heard the words from the clerk, he didn't know if he was going to be spending the next 2 decades in jail or going home.
And that's a T-shirt, bro. You just crop that out, and that's the cover of Griselda's next album called Freedom or something like that. Freedom to Sell or something like that. I think ASAP Rocky finally needs to drop this album. First of all, ASAP Rocky's probably one of my favorite rappers, just like personally. I wouldn't necessarily put him like on the GOAT list. Like if I had to make a GOAT list of top 10, ASAP Rocky's not going on that top 10. But if I were to make a like personal favorite rapper, he might sneak in at 10 or 11 on that list. And maybe one day I'll make a video of that list so you guys can know what it is. But the point is that I fuck with ASAP Rocky super heavy. I really, really do. So when he caught this gun charge and basically suspended his album, even though he was like in mid rollout, I was super disappointed. I was like, damn, we're never going to get this damn ASAP Rocky album ever because he's going to go to jail. But he beat the case. The case was beaten. He got not guilty on all charges, and now he's free. So now we are hoping to see this ASAP Rocky album, Don't Be Dumb, coming very, very soon. We'll see. I don't even know. I mean, if I were him, I'd be dropping a single today. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not ASAP Rocky. He's probably trying to make another baby. I think a rumor came out saying that they are working on another child and that they're going to name that child after the lawyer who got ASAP Rocky off, which is funny. Don't know if that's true or not, but that's hilarious. Rihanna just did an interview, I think, with Variety, talking about her next album. She said that she's actually been in the studio this entire time, which I think that she's lying. That's kind of cap. We've seen you do other things. Don't try to say that you're in the studio this entire time. But she said that she's been in the studio this entire time for like 10 years and that she has that album coming, and it's been something that she's been putting in, trying to ascend to the next level with, which is fantastic. I hope to not listen to it. I've never listened to an ASAP. I never listened to a Rihanna album from front to back, ever. I like her singles. I like her music. I like her. I think she's pretty. I think that she got good songs. But I just never just like sat down and listened to a Rihanna album. I've never been just like, let me listen to this Rihanna album from front to back. I never done that. I just never done that. And I don't think I will with this album. But, you know, the singles will probably drop and, you know, she'll probably, you know, make it happen. She's also worth $1.4 billion. And it just kind of reminds me of, like, the fact that I guess I'm supposed to hate her now because she's a billionaire. Because that's the rule, right? Like, if you're a billionaire, you're now a POS in the eyes of general America, right? And she's worth 1.4, so I guess that she's now on that threshold. And I guess there's like shady stuff with Fenty too. Like I'm not here to like smear on Rihanna. I'm just kind of shooting the S. But I think that there was something going on with like child labor with Fenty. I don't know. Let me look this up real quick before I start slandering Rihanna. Fenty controversy, deceptive marketing practices, legal action, lack of transparency. Fenty savage scores worse than Shein in ethical practices. That's interesting. So apparently, according to this random article that I Googled, check your sources, people. It says that Rihanna's Savage X Fenty scores worse than Shein in ethical practices. I'm not going to read this article. I'm just literally reading the headline. That's what I'm saying. Go look it up yourself because I didn't plan to talk about Rihanna. So I was trying to keep this under 30 minutes. I already went over. And that's probably because I spent an extra 2 minutes talking about Rihanna. So you know. Anyways, look it up. I still fuck with Rihanna. I'm hoping to see, hear, experience a new album from her that I won't actually sit down and listen to soon. That's my thoughts on that. Anyways, we are wrapped for today. I appreciate you guys watching the Jaron Ikner Show. You can catch the replay of this on my Jaron Ikner page, JaronIkner, to get the full episode with clips. I might add some cutaways and stuff like that. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. It kind of depends on my mood and how fast I want to get it out. But you can also follow us at Starstruck TV, where you can catch clips of this live, where we're doing this right now. You're watching this live on Starstruck TV right now if you're on YouTube, or if you're catching clips of this on Starstruck TV. Also follow us on TikTok. Shout out to people on TikTok. I see y'all. Some of y'all went away. There's nobody in here right now, but whatever. We're done anyways. But I appreciate you guys watching. I will see y'all soon. Peace out. Where's the stop button? There it is. Peace.